Hi, this is Naba Barkakati. In this 3-minute video, I'm going to talk to you about speaking in multiple languages, learning multiple languages. I can speak in 5 languages now, and I'm going to say the same sentence in all 5 languages to give you a flavor of the languages first. So I'm going to say, my name is Naba Barkakati, and I can speak in 5 languages. First is Assamese, my mother tongue, and I say, Mor naam Naba Barkakati, moi pasta bhashat kotha kobo paro. It's called Assamese, Ahomia in Assamese language, so I wrote that there too. Bengali, it's called Bangla. And I say, Amar naam Naba Barkakati, Ami panchta bhashay kotha bolte pari. Then comes Hindi, and in Hindi I say, Mera naam Naba Barkakati, मैं 5 भाषाओं में बात बोल सकता हूँ. And then finally, Spanish that I learned recently, and I say, Me llamo Naba Barkakati, puedo hablar en 5 idiomas. So as you can see, they're not exactly all fluent or great, but however, I can speak in those 5 languages. And in this figure below, I'm showing you the timeline when I learned that language, just to give you an idea. Assamese is my mother tongue, so I spoke it from early age to about age 9, and then I went to a school in Bengal, and I learned Bengali at age 9 and spoke till age 22. And then I learned Hindi during that time in school as a class, and took it as a class in high school, so 7 years or so. But Bengali and Assamese I never learned formally. I just learned by speaking, and I could read and write both, but just informally. And then English I learned when I was 5 or 6 years old, and it was the language of instruction in my schools, and then in engineering school, and then finally, of course, when I came to United States for the last 32 years or so, I exclusively spoke in English. So that's the language I feel like I am most comfortable in. And then finally, at the very end of the timeline, you can see Spanish. About 2 years ago I picked up and began trying to learn Spanish. And so that's where we are with the languages. Now my question is that I seem to be having to translate from English to Spanish whenever I try to speak Spanish, and for the other languages that I learned long time ago, I don't seem to do that. For those languages, I seem to be able to switch from one to the other, and I can basically think and speak, and when I listen I comprehend without any intermediary translation step. But for Spanish, somehow I'm doing it with English. Maybe that's my current language, so maybe that's the reason why it's so. I was wondering, do we think in some specific language, or are thoughts something more basic than that? And also, how come I can switch from one language to another as if like I'm switching some dial, from one language to another for the older languages, but for Spanish I'm still not quite at that stage. And I wonder if I'll ever be as good as I was with those older languages. Anyway, I don't have any answers to these questions, but I thought I'll bring them up in case someone wants to study them.